and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 244, the week of December 15th, 2015. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who is here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Jim Jokisch.
And Charlie.
We're expecting Toby. I don't know where he is. He'll probably join us at some point.
He'll come out of a birth canal.
So I've not been on the internet for, I was going to say a week, good lord. I've not been on the internet for 24 hours.
But it feels like a week.
Wait, you just watched the Avengers trailer again. I mean, the Civil War trailer again.
I have not been on any form of social media for 24 hours.
Or news site.
Or anything.
It's becoming more clear now.
Email, eBay, to
Twitter
for sale stuff. Yeah. I mean, like
YouTube, Cyber Brigadier video.
Yeah.
CDR,
But no,
Newsarama.
No, none of that stuff. No. No real internet. No social media. No news internet.
Comicbookmovie.com.
No. Fuck. No, not that. They're the worst.
He didn't see the Star Wars spoiler that was on Twitter.
Didn't see anything.
It was an actual spoiler for a car.
Yeah.
For those of you in the audience, we have been tormenting Ryan about
Thursday. I got 2 days. I could do it.
We're all going to be there.
Yeah, I know.
Well, almost.
I read something that said George Lucas was there, but that was all I got.
Everyone was there. But I don't care. We're not going to talk about Star Wars. That's this Friday. So
I heard Jar Jar Binks makes a cameo appearance.
We're going to talk about comic books because Star Wars can go take a fucking flying leap for 2 more days. So comic books. Hey guys, we read some comic books this weekend. We're going to talk about this, or maybe not this weekend.
Some
maybe
of us did
over the last couple weeks.
I didn't consider those comic books worth reading, unfortunately.
And we're going to talk about some now. And then we got some talk about some trailers we saw. And then we're going to talk about Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good episode.
And if we can get to it, flashing.
Flaro.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now you're trying to overcommit us again.
I know. We got a lot to talk about this week. The Flash and Arrow mid-season finales. We'll talk about them at least briefly. So we got a lot to talk about here. We are continuing with our ongoing look at all the Marvel #1 comics that have been released throughout the end here of 2015. We're definitely slowing down because there was this many books coming out per week when we started this. Now it's like 2 weeks, and there's like, I don't know. There was 1 book last week. I think there's only 2 this week, but there was like maybe 5 or 6 the week prior. So we got a handful. Let's start with Ms. Marvel #1. By G. Willow Wilson and whoever the artist is.
It is not all new, and it is not all different.
Takeshi Miyazawa. Right, and Adrian Alfano, who's, I think, the actual artist on the series. So this is the ongoing title. Right, continuing pretty much right off.
Continuation.
Yeah.
Even I didn't read it, but it still looked like a continuation from the old, from the last series that was ongoing.
I mean, realistically, anything that was launched semi-recently and successful is just going to continue.
Right. So I did read the very first issue of Ms. Marvel when it started, and I did not care for it in any way, shape, or form, so I did not continue with it. I understand it's successful within its audience, but not a book I cared about, and I read, I think, 8 pages of this one before I just said, and I continue to not care. Yeah. It's just not for me, know, whatever.
I'm in the same boat. I think I got 6 to 8 pages in, and it was like,
The art's cool. I mean, it's a cool style for the character, but just give 0 fucks about Ms. Marvel.
It fits in like the Gotham Academy category.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Not a book for me. Nothing I care about. I continue to not care about this book. And Charlie, did you?
So this is what I kind of have to say about this book. I can acknowledge that something is a good book without calling it for me. I don't consider this book for me. I don't feel the need to read it over and over. Like, I read 1 issue. I don't regret reading the issue, but it's also, I'm not the sort of target audience for this book.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the target audience for this book. And one of the things it kind of has going for it, similar to like Batgirl and that kind of stuff, is it does feel like it would be a good book for a younger audience.
Yeah, sure. And I think sometimes it works. I think a case of, we talked about Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur a couple of weeks ago. At least myself and Toby, and I think Brock, I think you liked it a little bit. Charlie, I don't remember what you said, but
we were out of it, so I didn't get to read it.
I thought that was okay. I will continue reading that. Miss Marvel, though, does not click with me. But again, whatever. It's not terrible. There's some terrible books in this list. It's not terrible. It's just not. I just don't care about it, so it's not for me. Red Wolf #1 by Nathan Edmondson and Dalibor Talajic. Horribly pronounce that name.
Is this a brand new character?
No, Jim actually just bought Red Wolf #1, his first appearance. Well, no, it wasn't Red Wolf 1. It was
Marvel Spotlight #1 with an appearance of Red Wolf.
Yeah, it was. Sorry.
Red Wolf #1 was in Avengers 77 or something like that.
Yeah, no, he's an old character. He just hasn't.
This is like the 4th incarnation of him.
Yeah, he hasn't been in a book in.
It hasn't been the same character ever. It's always been a new incarnation of Red Wolf.
Right, and this one. Seemingly, the entire issue, except for the very last page, is still in Secret Wars. At least that's what it feels like, because he's still in Timely. He's still in that the Secret Wars.
I like the tip of the hat to Timely.
Yeah, well, so
Marvel.
So in the 1872 Secret Wars miniseries, which was okay, he was one of the characters in it, and they were in the city of Timely. And so, I don't know if he's coming from the past or what the deal is, but it seems to still be involved some way in Secret Wars. And so he's a Native American who is a sheriff for a Wild West town, and he fights some guy who clearly is not from his time.
Yep.
And the whole picture of the series, I'll give you the last page spoiler, is he wakes up in modern day, basically, with some kid taking a picture on his phone. He's totally going to tweet that picture of this guy that got shot. So that's how you know it's today, because the kid says "bro," and he's going to tweet it.
I mean, it was okay. It wasn't great, but I've read this from All Star Western with Jonah Hex.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
and
that realistically, that's all this book did. Is it made me want to go back and read Jonah Hex?
Yeah. I'm like, it didn't have Booster Gold.
Oh, Jonah Hex was. Was way better.
Yeah.
This was definitely old Western, Two Gun Kid, Jonah Hex, Rawhide Kid, stuff like that.
But the majority of Jonah Hex, in fact, only a couple issues, he came to the present day.
He was in for about 6 issues.
Of the 66 issues of the original series, plus the 32 or whatever of the current one. So of 100 issues, he's only in the current day for a few of them. And
the way they built up everything in the past worked really well for sort of the modern day stuff they did. But, most of this book, as you said, sort of takes place in a Old West time frame. And
right.
I understand the time, and I understand the racism that existed at the time, but I kind of felt like they kind of shoehorned this. There's racism at the time, but he's sheriff, and
right. How does that work?
Yeah,
it just felt a little heavy-handed, and I don't know. Like, nothing against the character. Character seems cool enough, but was it? And Edmondson's done some work I've liked. This didn't grip me the way other works of his, because he did the most recent Punisher, right? Is he the same guy?
Yeah, he was on a couple of books.
I was in Black Widow. Was he on Black Widow? Edmondson?
Yeah, I think those were the 2 books. That's why they crossed over once.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of excited for this, but again, and this is the problem
I'll read issue 2 to see how the transition is into the present day.
Yeah.
But
I'll probably give it one more issue, but unlikely.
I was very excited for this one. I haven't seen Red Wolf in a long time.
Yeah.
First appearance was Avengers number 80, by the way.
80, okay.
But I had just picked up the Tigra Marvel Chillers that had Red Wolf in it. 2 issues.
You're going Red Wolf crazy.
I know. Recently, I don't know. He's just popped up. He's just popping up everywhere.
You got to get that 1872 miniseries.
I need to get 1872.
I need
to get a Avengers 80, but. I didn't care for this rendition of Red Wolf. Him as sheriff just didn't do it for me. That's not really what it was before. So.
And I think it's a tough concept because, it gets kind of hokey and, like you said, racist and just sort of like, I don't know. I thought this was going to be like scalped in the Marvel universe. I thought this was going to be some modern day.
If this was scalped in the Marvel universe, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah,
that shit.
This should be a modern day Native American.
No, you know what'll happen?
Hard boiled.
Edmondson will finish his run, then they'll get Warren Ellis to come in and do 6 issues.
Oh shit! They should get Jason Aaron. Fucking whatever. Jason Aaron wasn't even some. Oh no, he's not doing the new Weird World book. That's someone else. Yeah. Potential, but we'll see. I don't know going forward.
I didn't see the wolf either. He always has Lobo with him, but and Lobo his wolf, not Lobo DC.
Yeah.
Bounty Hunter Lobo. But Let's move on. It wasn't worth spending that much time on.
Next up, All New X-Men #1 by Dennis Hopeless and Mark Bagley. This is the continuation of the Brian Michael Bendis All New X-Men book.
So this is not a all new, all different.
Well, again, I feel this is. I mean, it's not the same creative team, so this is a very kind of big shift for the title. They're completely separated from the X-Men, so they're kind of on their own. Now, I did enjoy the vast majority of All New X-Men under Brian Michael Bendis. And if Bryce is listening, because he's not here today, Bryce, I will say
Suck it, Bryce.
that Uncanny X-Men 600 was among one of the worst comic books I've ever read in my life. That book was fucking terrible. So,
You realize it took us a half an hour to get those words out of Bryce's mouth last time.
Well, it took me 30 seconds, and I'll tell you, I don't need to say anything else about it. So, I feel they did a great disservice to the X-Men franchise at the end there. So, and the books that have come out since, Extraordinary X-Men, I thought has been pretty weak. Mm-hmm. I've liked Wolverine, but is that it? Are those the only X-Men books? Am I missing any? Like, isn't there other... Uncanny hasn't come out yet.
No,
I feel
Uncanny
like
hasn't come out yet.
Yeah. Like, is that literally all the X-Men books so
all
far?
All the X-Men, Extraordinary X-Men, and Uncanny
Give them a chance.
Wow.
They're not done yet. I'm sure there's a lot more.
And Mark Bagley, I used to love Mark Bagley. Everyone knows New Warriors forever. But, man, his art style recently just doesn't click with me anymore. And, again, same here. It's better than I've seen him recently, but it's still not great. And we're still now caught in this super confusing time where a bunch of bad shit's gone down with Cyclops, and we have no idea what happened. He's dead, presumably.
The older Cyclops. The younger Cyclops is still running around.
Yeah. And
he's hiding.
Well, not anymore.
He's sulking because he's not with Jean.
He was hiding. He was hiding for a while. And so they added to the team, too, one of the Bamps, one of the baby Nightcrawlers. They added Adam? Is that his name? Apocalypse? The Apocalypse kid?
Oh,
is that his
Evan.
Name? Evan, yeah. And I have no idea who the girl is. I reread the entire issue. I have no clue who this character is. They never call her by name that I could tell. There's a girl in it. I have no idea who she is. Unless, I flipped back through the entire book. Never saw her called by name. Never saw her called by a code
call
name.
Sign. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, unless I skipped past it, and I didn't even realize she was in the book to the last page. And I went back through the book. And I'm like, who the hell is this? And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess she's walking around with them when they're in their human form. But I don't think they ever call her by name. So that's really weird for first issue. And I'm just kind of skimming here, and I have no idea who this character is. Anyway,
maybe it's Voodoo.
I'm just having fun going. It's probably a new character, and the writer's like, damn it, I can't come up with a name. So I just won't call her by name for the entire issue.
So, is this as good as the Bendis stuff? No. Is it terrible? No. Is it just, yeah, it's just whatever. I don't know.
Well, especially with this supposed thing that happened with the older Cyclops and everything, it really needed some really good hook for an issue 1 to drag people in. And it just didn't have it. It kind of just felt more the same. Like nothing's really progressed and in some ways just regressed.
Yeah. I agree. Brock, did you read this one?
Yeah, I read this one. I didn't care too much for it. It was...
But you didn't really like the Bendis stuff either, right?
No, I didn't really like the Bendis stuff either. So. But, as kind of trying to jump in on it and see how it's doing, it didn't really entice me at all, so...
Well, if you're a big X-Men fan, I'm sure I don't know, maybe you liked it. I have no idea. I don't know who this is for. I just wonder what they're going to do with these kids. It felt like Secret Wars would have been a good time to put them back.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So I don't know what the plan is here.
Well, if they put them back, then they lose Jean Grey again.
Yeah.
Well, I think in general, the way I kind of read this is with Secret Wars, everything that existed before Secret Wars kind of fluctuated and changed, so they're now outside of time.
Yeah.
Well, so I think there is a version of the young X-Men in the past that never traveled to the future, so they're kind of anomalies at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. Oh, I forgot to say X-23 is in the book too. Or sorry, Wolverine's in the book too, which is cool. I like her a lot. Yeah. Actually, I really like her as Wolverine. So, there you go. I don't know, whatever. Guardians of Infinity #1 by Dan Abnett, Jason Latour, Carlos Barbary, and Jim Chung. So we have a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy books these
Guardians
days.
of the Flarking Galaxy.
Yeah, just like we have a lot of. Oh wait, Jim, did you read out the new X-Men? Have you read? I mean, you read some of these, right?
Yeah, I didn't read that one.
Okay,
I read the Guardians.
You read the Guardians of Infinity. Okay, yeah, jump in. If I skip you, jump in.
Keep going.
Because I don't know which ones you've read and which
That's
ones you
okay
haven't.
because there wasn't a whole lot to read for me. But anyway,
Yeah. So I love the original Guardians, plus the 90s
the Valentino
Jim
run.
Valentino run, right?
Loved the Valentino run.
Plus the modern day Guardians, all the different incarnations. Yeah, really cool. The Guardians 3000 comic this is kind of the continuation of. I thought was really bad.
Yeah, it was.
I had a real hard time reading that book. I read the first couple, and I was really, really excited for it. And there was nothing. Poorly written, poorly drawn.
Ever since Abnett has not been working with Lanning, it's been so bad.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Did they just have a falling out?
I don't know. So this I thought was actually half okay.
It was much better than the previous series.
Better than 3000. So the front half of the book is written by Dan Abnett. The back half was written by Jason Latour. I thought the Jason Latour stuff was terrible.
Yeah, that was horrible.
The Thing back up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That thing. Oh,
that made no sense.
And I like Jason Latour, but holy shit, this was really, really bad. So I don't know if they're just going to have like an ongoing kind of backup with rotating characters. But so this is sort of it's not a continuation, but it's an acknowledgement of the original Thing ongoing series from like the late 70s, early 80s.
Well, the original Thing series split off during Secret War. And he was out in space, so he is out in space for a while. But it didn't start in space, though.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. So this is an acknowledgement of that time when he was like a space wrestler,
exactly,
and which is cool. But I don't know that backup story. But the front story I actually liked. And now we're getting a third Guardians of the Galaxy team that's like from the distant past / future.
/ alternate universe /
with the Thinker. Thinker, right? FF guy, Thinker. That's that guy. It looks like him. Yeah,
it looks like him. Yeah,
not the Thinker. So I don't know what's up with this new team, but I thought this was a much better start than the 3000.
Oh,
it looks like Wizard
by far.
Or Wizard. Sorry, not Thinker. Wizard. Yeah, totally looks like the Wizard.
Yeah. I thought it was Karnak at first. Karnak has the same helmet.
Like a little Karnak.
It is,
yeah. I don't know who that's supposed to... I mean, I'm assuming they're all new characters, but...
Yeah.
But like you said, better than 3000.
Oh, like you, I couldn't really read 3000, and it takes a lot for me to just flat out go like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Typically, a lot of the series that I decide I'm done with are because we run out of copies at the shop because our sales drop that much on them.
Well, I'm done.
If no one else is buying it, it's like not even worth reading.
I like Guardians when there was one book. I mean, I felt like they could put a lot of effort into the one book and make it good.
Yeah.
There's so many branches now. There's so many different Guardians books. It's just blah.
No, the thing for me right now is...
the backup in Guardians.
Guardians is great. Rocket Raccoon is a completely different style and everything, and it's great, and Groot is...
Well, Rocket and Groot... Rocket's over, Groot's over, now they're getting a combo book, which is fine.
But like, to me, because those are a completely different style, they're not trying to be another Guardians book. It's much more akin to sort of like just the fun, off-the-wall comedy kind of books, which I'm a big fan of. It's part of the reason I really like the Howard the Duck book and stuff, too. So I don't mind them sort of spinning off these books as long as they keep them very unique feeling, and in some ways don't even... Like the Harley Quinn book doesn't really factor into Suicide Squad.
No, not at all.
That's the same way like the Rocket and Groot books feel. Like they're just
like
fun little side things.
For what you're saying, what I've noticed with at least the Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of Infinity, and Venom Space Knight is that, or even Drax, is that Drax, they're trying to follow Drax, but they're saying, oh, you're doing this when the team's on a break or something or doing something, and in Guardians of Infinity, it's Drax and Rocket and Groot going to find stuff or steal stuff. And it's like, but in the main book, you have this huge story that's going on.
That doesn't bother me because every comic does this. Look at Justice League versus all their solo titles. They're completely different.
Well, no, the thing is I don't mind completely different. Like Charlie said, if it's separate from it, but they use the Guardians to kind of bring people in. I'm like, if you just had Drax in a bar, starting instead of that long ass introduction with him going, "Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do?"
I mean, I don't know. All right, let's move on to Spidey #1 by Robbie Thompson and Nick Bradshaw, who I believe is the same creative team as the amazing Spider-Verse comic that was happening during Secret Wars. I believe it is the same creative team. One of the Spider-Man books. So I don't know what the point of this book is.
I didn't read it.
Well, it's a young Peter Parker book.
Kinda. I mean, it's definitely younger than modern day, but is this an ultimate replacement? Is this a flashback?
It's got to be either a flashback or an alternate
super
reality.
stories are back.
It feels. I mean, the characters don't look like the characters. Like Doc Ock's in it, and doesn't look anything like Doc Ock. So I don't know. Is this a kind of retconning past stuff to sort of clean up the...
I feel like it's got to be an alternate universe, and a large part of that is reading it and looking at it. Some of the art style really reminded me of, like, the Sam Raimi... like, if you look at the look of Norman in this...
Yeah.
It literally looks like they took the Norman directly out of the Sam Raimi movies. Defoe? Well,
Willem Dafoe. Yeah, totally.
So I kind of feel like this is just every once in a while they try to do young Peter Parker modernized.
This is the Spider-Man Chapter 1 for today.
Jesus Christ!
Well, it's
not that bad.
I hate restocking that shit.
Okay, to me, what this felt like is like the beginning of the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show or any of those kind of things where they've tried to restart him younger. Bring in the villains pretty quickly, have sort of quick stories. And looking at it that way, I enjoyed it. It's actually a very good jumping on point for like a younger audience, because you don't get that history. They've definitely kind of gone cell phones and all that crazy. But it doesn't fit within the normal Marvel line.
Yeah.
The cover reminds me of, and even some of the insides, the inner artwork remind me of the old Electric Company Spidey Super Stories.
That's exactly what the logo.
It's completely out of context. Yeah. Completely out of the realm of the Marvel universe.
Well, the logo is totally the.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The logo, with the eye, with
the Spider-Man face and the eye.
Yeah, that's totally like the Electric Company stuff. So. All right, let's talk about.
It'd be good for younger readers. I mean,
it's not all ages, but it's not PG-13.
Very good jumping on spot.
Let's talk about Totally Huge Pile of Shit Hulk by Greg Pak and Frank Cho. What a pile of shit this book was. Holy crap. The art was kind of pretty, but man, I hated this comic so fucking much.
You didn't like Amadeus Cho as Hulk?
Like, I might have read like 3 comics with Amadeus.
His shorts burned off in the first issue.
I might have read like 3 comics with Amadeus Cho in the entire history of comics. Like, I just have never read a comic that this guy's in. And what a fucking annoying comic book. No, am I the only one?
Did you finish it?
I did.
Oh, at least you got further on that than you did it with Ms. Marvel.
I did, yeah. I was just like, wow. I was thinking, okay, maybe this would be kind of funny. No, Amadeus Cho's just a huge fucking cock.
You know what? It reminds me of Hulkling from Young Avengers.
It's just...
kind of.
I don't know. Like, what the fuck is this is a bad comic book.
Okay.
I
did not think it was a bad comic book. It has
a bad title.
It was much better than I thought it would be. I actually expected to be more in your camp than I was actually after reading it.
The Hulk books for a while now have been particularly bad.
What is actually pissing me off about this isn't so much about the book itself, but everybody surrounding the Hulk seems to need to get gamma infused these days, and I am so fucking tired of that.
It's so dumb. Where's the fucking Hulk? Why can't we just have one Hulk?
Separating from that, it
was annoying. It wasn't a bad comic book.
I think what bothers me about a book like this when I read it is every once in a while I read a book like this and I'm like, I would enjoy this as a miniseries. I'm going to so get burnt out on it as an ongoing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And that's how this feels. Like I have a feeling this would make a good miniseries for me. But
here's
anything
the thing.
longer and
here's the thing. We started with a lot of, I think, some very strong titles in the early days of the Marvel stuff, right? And some of these books I've looked at and said, I get the 6 issues. I don't get a long long-term story out of this. Vision is a perfect case, or maybe Black Knight, which I did like, or maybe Carnage. These all feel like miniseries, but they're all labeled as ongoing. Almost every book this week absolutely feels like a miniseries. Red Wolf, Guardians of Infinity, Spidey, and at least one or two more of the ones we're going to talk about here. Definitely help.
Red Wolf's like a 4-issue miniseries.
Yeah, these do not feel like ongoing books at all. No. So,
I mean,
I will say this: my favorite part of this Hulk book was the interaction with She-Hulk. That made me laugh.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, I guess, but Amadeus Cho is just a really annoying idiot, and
that's part of what does bother me a little bit is. They're playing up the Banner was really smart, Hulk was really dumb, and they've kind of done the Amadeus Cho is really smart, Hulk is really
I can sum it up for you guys.
Stupid, but
I can sum it up for you guys.
So
it's basically a book about a teenage boy going through puberty.
Are they selling this book
he's
to
a Hulk.
Are they selling this book to like the dude bro like bodybuilder audience? Like, what is the point? Like, this book makes no sense. I don't know. I don't fucking get it.
To me, the whole thing is it was okay. It had moments where it was okay, but for the most part, it just felt like one of those books that is aimed at a teenage audience. Where it's like, hey, I'm Hulk, but hey, I'm into girls and I'm awkward around girls, and like I really got the sense of like Frank Cho's.
All that was missing was him saying Shazam.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
a little bit.
I mean, that's what it felt like.
He would have screamed Gamma, right?
So we get a couple. We're kind of getting through the.
But that title is the worst pice of shit title ever.
Totally Awesome Hulk.
Yeah,
totally
it really
awesome
is the worst.
Hulk.
Totally, it's the worst name ever. So I got a little stronger feelings on the next couple titles here, which is why I like to kind of save some of these for the end. At least one of these, this next one, I'm gonna ask you guys your opinion first. Daredevil, very highly anticipated Daredevil number one by Charles Soule and Ron Gardney. And Ron Gardney completely changed his art style too for this. This looks way different than his normal style. What did you guys think of this book?
When did Gambit change his name to Blind Shot?
That's the thing. I don't think it. Other than the image where we're all, so it's Gambit. Did they ever actually say it?
No. And they said very early on it's not Gambit.
And in there it names him as Blind Shot.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. No, it's not Gambit.
But
it's not Gambit.
I just found it kind of funny that art and everything, totally everybody was like, yeah. Overall, I liked it. Again, there were a lot of stuff in it where I'm like, I want to know that story. I don't want you to just say, he did something to put the genie back in the bottle so people don't know. Like, did I miss something?
If you missed it, I missed it too because, again, if it's, Secret Wars, no one knows Daredevil's Daredevil anymore. Okay, fine. Whatever. But, they never say any reason that he's not, that people don't know he's Daredevil anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, Soule is a good writer. I mean, I feel like this is going to be a good book. Is it a great first issue? Not necessarily. The art's kind of in some parts. Other parts, it looks cool. But for the most part, I'm definitely going to have to read 2 or 3 to see if it's going to be interesting enough to keep my... Well, I mean, because after coming off the Wade stuff, and especially that style, and, with what the runs Daredevil's had, with Brubaker and Bendis and all this, like...
This, in a weird way, kind of... Well, for one thing, they keep doing that, the whole public, not public kind of thing, which... It was kind of nice that they kept it around as long as they did with Matt.
Yeah.
But that aside, there were a lot of changes in this book that makes me very curious because we're looking at basically a different Matt, and I don't dislike it at all. I actually like a lot of what they talk about in this book, and but without having the story of how Matt became that way, that's really what I want to know. It's less about what's going on now at this point. I really want to know, how did we get to this point? So I'm hoping they get to that sooner rather than later, because I don't want this to be the kind of thing where it's like, we'll wait till people get a little tired and then we'll announce, and now we'll finally fill in the details.
Yeah. I was really excited for this book. I was really disappointed with it. I don't know.
I mean, I think there's some setup for potential, but I think it was not a good introduction.
I think Daredevil... Again, you have Bendis to Brubaker, which were Smith to Bendis to Brubaker. So you're talking a decade of really good Daredevil comics.
Yep.
And then you go to what's his face?
Wade?
Before Wade, in between
the whole Shadow.
Yeah, the whole Shadow.
Oh God, that horror. Oh.
Which definitely kind of brought it down a notch. And then Wade came back. Would Wade have like 3 years on it, 4 years or something like that?
Yeah.
Wade's run was, very different than the Brubaker and Bendis stuff, but amazing. Chris Samney's art's so good on that series. It felt very different, but it was still a very, very good take on Daredevil. Again, one issue, it's hard to judge. I'm a huge Daredevil fan. I've read Daredevil.
You're still judging.
I've read Daredevil nearly the entire time I've read comics. It was one of the very first comics I ever picked up, and I've never not read it. I don't know. Not my favorite first issue.
But that's the thing. Right now,
and the art makes
without knowing the reasons behind it, it's not a Daredevil book yet.
No, not at all. I had no idea that was what's the guy's name?
Blind Shot.
I had no idea that was him in the last page. I had to go. I'm like, who the hell is this? And I flipped to the back. I'm like, oh, he's got like some weird T-shirt on. I guess that's supposed to be the same guy. I don't know if the art's rough. The little 10-finger guy is cool at the end, but man, yeah, like you said, it's not Matt Murdock. It's like a way different take on Daredevil. It just feels so different.
Well, I like.
And also, is his suit black?
Yes, it is. I was just going to say that. It makes me want to make a custom black costume.
Yeah,
Daredevil.
like, I was like, did they change his costume, too? Like, I was like, is it just the art style?
This costume goes back to the...
the 350... Issue 350, that era.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely going to keep reading. I love Daredevil, and Charles Soule's done some good stuff, but this was... I don't know. First issue just didn't work for me. Yeah. Let's move on to another book. All New Inhumans, #1. Hey, Speak of the Devil by Charles Soule. So apparently, Charles Soule's previous work was maybe a fluke, because this book was. I hated this book. I don't know what is going on. Literally everything Charles Soule's doing at Marvel. He did that Wolverine's book, which is fucking terrible. He did this. He did Daredevil, and I don't know, man.
I'm starting to wonder if he's just suffering from the picked up too many books too quickly.
So Marvel, first of all, Marvel, please, if anyone from Marvel's listening, the Inhumans aren't going to work, guys. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. You can have an awesome Inhumans book. One. Everyone gets one. You get one. This isn't going to last. Nobody knows who the fuck any of these characters are. Nobody cares about any of these characters. This isn't like a Guardians of the Galaxy thing where suddenly you're like, well, okay, we can build from it. There's just not an introduction to any of these characters. There's no... Like, I've read many books of the Inhumans, and I'm reading this book along with Uncanny Inhumans going, who the hell are any of these? Uncanny Inhumans, at least... Wait, no, this is the one that picks up from Inhuman, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that explains why I have no idea.
Yeah.
Except for Crystal. I have no clue.
This is not all new, all different Inhumans. This is just a continuation of the Inhumans.
Of Inhuman.
Of Inhuman.
Right. Which I gave no fucks for. Again, I read the first maybe 2 issues of that and was just like, what the hell? This is awful. And so Marvel, I don't know, whatever. Try, I guess. But man, these Inhuman books are fucking terrible across the board.
Everybody knows half a dozen Inhumans, and that's it. I mean, you know the royal
right,
family.
Exactly.
That's what you know. I mean, and nobody gave two shits about anything else.
Well, I guess my take on this kind of has to do with, I don't feel like things have progressed since the Mist Cloud. Like, they've progressed slightly, but everything is still so focused on the Mist one around. That
happened like 2 years ago.
I know. And
like nothing's happened with it.
And the fact that it keeps coming back to that, and that is essentially the whole premise behind all these books, and not just Inhumans books, but other books.
But they're acknowledged in nothing else.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's real weird.
There's no real...
It's like the Inhumans have the X-Men problem. It's like they're on an alternate reality by themselves, right?
Well, I actually think a large part of it has to do with the fact that they decided how they were going to increase the Inhumans population, but didn't decide anything else on what they were going to do with them.
Yeah.
How did Gorgon end up in a wheelchair?
I mean, I guess it's an Inhuman, which...
Yeah, I'm assuming it's an Inhuman.
Did not care for that.
Which, again, pisses me the fuck off just because of the whole... X-Men, mutants, now we need the...
Like, at least in a book like this, give me a one-page here's all the characters, here's kind of the background of what's happened. Like, give me something.
A one-page summary.
I read this book, and I'm like, I have no idea what's happening in this book. And that's, for these all different Marvel books, you have people like me. I read a shitload of comic books, and if I have no idea what's going on in these books, I'll go back to Vision. Very different setup, but you get what's going on. Okay, Vision's working for the government. Why? Well, we don't necessarily know why. But you have an idea of what's going on in that title.
And I don't remember where this was, but they had the Vision short story where he went to visit the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Long. I don't remember what book was that.
I don't remember what book that was. Like a backup in something, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was the whole idea of the fact that the Vision had purged his emotional connection to memories.
Yeah,
and this apparently is what came of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Even a book I didn't really care for, like Hercules, I felt like they kind of gave you a setup for it. That's fine.
Yeah.
These Inhuman books, man, no clue what's going on. And Miss Marvel, I think, suffers the same point. When I was reading Miss Marvel, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on in this comic.
Well, to me, what's kind of where I kind of feel like we're at with the X-Men books and the Inhuman books and that kind of stuff is they decided on the quote-unquote status quo, but then they leave it there, and that's all the book seems to focus on and be about, and there's no progression. There's no, at least the other Inhumans book, I like the hook of Black Bolt's kid being with Kang. That's an interesting story to me.
Right.
But that's about Black Bolt, his kid, Medusa, that stuff has a hook. It's got a clear direction it's going in, so it's easy to kind of get on board with.
And the history of these characters as well.
Even then, you don't need a super detailed history to sort of connect with, he made this agreement to save his kid, now he's trying to... there's a very clear idea of where they're going with that story and how to connect into it. What bothers me about a lot of the X-Men books over the past couple of years and now the Inhumans book and that kind of stuff is when you decide on a status quo without deciding on a direction, all the books become about the status quo.
Right. Brock, what do you think of All New Inhuman? All New Inhumans is number one. Yeah, you went to the bathroom, so I'm assuming you told us everything you need to tell us.
I think it's just funny that the at least in the Marvel universe, the wind doesn't blow. Because that Terrigen mist has been moving so fucking slow.
2 years this thing's been floating around
and
the Marvel
funny
universe.
thing about reading this is they're like, oh, we haven't been able to catch up with it. It's going at a fucking snail. The post office is faster than that thing.
Well, the thing you don't understand is it keeps circling the globe, and they're always they need to just turn around and
just stop. Turn around and wait for it.
Stop and wait for it. Right, get there faster.
See, I told you it was a fart.
Yeah. All right. Now, finally, a book I really liked, and that's Scarlet Witch #1 by James Robinson and Vanessa Del Rey. Does it scream miniseries? Yeah. Does it feel like it's just kind of trying to be like Jessica Jones? Yeah. But I really like this first issue. So,
does it scream female Constantine?
Right. It feels like Scarlet Witch. It feels like Constantine mixed with Jessica Jones, right? Absolutely. But it was a cool first issue. I love James Robinson, but a lot of the work he's done recently, again, not my favorite. Nothing will ever be Starman or any of that stuff again, probably. But, this was I liked the first issue. It felt his style. Yes, very...
At least we didn't get his dick in it.
Very Hellblazer. Definitely, they're clearly... They're going for... what's the guy... what's the artist on Jessica Jones? I'm sorry, what's the artist on Alias? Gatos? Is that guy's name? I'm blanking on his name off the top of my head. But the art style, very reminiscent of that. And yeah, totally. I like this issue a whole lot. Of this stack of 10 books, I felt like it's been maybe half and half on a lot of this. The last 2 weeks, I felt these books have been weak. I like the stuff. Just cool concept. I like the art, like the style, like the flow. Yeah, it screams miniseries, but I'll take it. I like it. What do you guys think?
You can have it.
I liked it overall. It screams miniseries, as you said. But I also find it really, really funny how they keep feeling the need to redefine Scarlet Witch's powers.
Oh, yeah. It's like
every single time they bring her back, it's like, well, it's not really this. It's actually this.
This does feel like it
She has
was...
this Resurrection Man syndrome. Every time she comes back,
well, this is
her powers
non-mutant.
morph.
Remember, this is non-mutant Scarlet Witch, I think, at this point. I don't know.
It felt like the lawyers went and did a little bit of editing as it was written.
Yeah. She got the Squirrel Girl treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean,
You're complete. The doctor said you're completely and legally not a mutant anymore. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Agatha Harkness to show up and confirm that she's just a witch now.
She is in it.
All right,
Agatha
awesome.
Harkness is in
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a blast from the past right there.
As a ghost.
Yeah.
She's dead.
That's fine.
Which is part of the reason
when
it
she
feels
died.
very
That's cool.
Constantine.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was good. As I said, it's kind of weird because it's just sort of a new, very different direction for the character. But at this point, I think the character needs a nice new direction. So I'm very excited to see where they take it.
Yeah, I agree.
If you like the Gotham by Midnight,
Yeah, Gotham by Midnight.
Gotham by Midnight, then I would suggest this book for sure.
I'm just confused. Her emblem is an M. Is that for Magneto? Magic?
No, it's her headdress.
No, it's an upside down W. It's for witch.
Oh, so it's
Wanda.
For Wanda? It's upside down.
No, it's a bat. She's a Batman fan.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a big Batman.
Wow.
I read this. I enjoyed it. Right, it has the Constantine feel mixed with Jessica Jones. So with that whole Jessica Jones mix, I'm waiting for Stephen Strange to come in and they bump nasties or some shit and whatever. But I mean, I enjoyed it. It was okay. It wasn't horrible, but I do hope Doctor Strange bumps nasties with it though.
Well, he's a lot
Doctor Strange
younger now.
confirmed that she was crazy back during Avengers Disassembled.
Things are different now.
That's when
Why
they
the hell
show
would
up.
you-
Have you been reading Doctor Strange right now?
Yeah, he'll do anything. So,
He will.
Good book, though.
yeah. Oh, yeah. All right.
Tangible or intangible. All right.
So that's some recent Marvel. The next couple of weeks are going to be weird.
we apologize for the recent Marvel. All right, keep going.
We're going to do some best of lists. We're doing our Star Wars episode, which is going to be coming out this Friday, so no traditional episode next week.
Thursday night.
Well, Friday's when we were recording. So
Jim's
we're
going to send you a soundbite.
and there's actually not that many more Marvel #1s coming out the rest of this month, so we will pick back up probably mid-January with at least a couple episodes to catch up on some of these. So I do recommend checking out at least some of these if they seem interesting to you. Again, our opinions are just our opinions.
You can check
Maybe-
out the ones that seem interesting to us, or you can check out the ones that we think are complete and utter trash.
Maybe Totally Awesome Hulk is your favorite comic, and I feel really bad, but no.
Hey, he'll still sell it to you.
But you're more than welcome to buy it from me. I have a big stack of them, so buy them all, please.
They're totally awesome.
No, they're not.
I know.
And I mean, I think it's probably because I mean a lot of these are now in like issue 3.
Well, not these ones.
Well, no, not these.
Not yet.
But in
Some of
terms
these are
the
in
new
issue
Marvel, in terms of the new Marvel,
Fuck, I think
number
Iron Man
one-
4 ships next week. Good Lord.
Yeah,
God, that book. See, well, here's the thing.
Number 4.
Here's the thing. If people...
number 4 is already on the shelf.
Oh,
so
okay,
it
maybe
must
it's
be number
5. Maybe it's 5 this next week. If people stop listening to this podcast because they hated my terrible opinions, we have like 2 listeners. So trust me, no one even cares what I have to say.
We know Bryce doesn't.
No, but I'm just saying that it's probably worth at some point revisiting the ones that are really working for us. And
Yeah.
we said, well, we'll give it a couple issues.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah. For February, March or so, we'll definitely hit back up on some of these and see what we're thinking. Because I'm keeping up with maybe 40, 50% of them. I mean, there's some that just like, nope, done. But
Hercules?
I'd say about 50%. No, Hercules, it's not bad. It's just bland. Yeah. Like
Contest of Champions, I'm done.
No, I you know what? I actually liked the first issue. I read the second issue and went,
And the third issue was,
yeah, but whatever. We'll deal with this later.
we need to have the scale.
So our plan was to talk about a few trailers here, but we went very long with that. So we have to stick to our more dire thing, and that is, even though Toby's not here, I don't know where the hell Toby went. No, we're not going to talk about our trailers because we have a much more important thing to talk about.
Jessica
Is that how
Jones.
Jordan got a haircut?
Well, you see all
did.
you see all the parallax stuff. You saw,
Yes,
yeah?
yes, I did.
I mean, there's actually been some news, but we don't have time to talk about it. Like DC, all their 50th issues are kind of like a big kind of
Oversized.
like over. like kind of shift.
They're going to rejigger the
it's
universe.
ending or starting up the new stuff. Yeah, I'm really curious about that. Anyway, it's apparently an all Marvel podcast, so we're going to talk about Jessica Jones right now. So if you've not seen it, goodbye.
Pause, watch the 13 episodes, and come back.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple
I
weeks.
can't escape.
Yeah, Brock. I mean, you can
care.
leave if you want.
I don't care.
You have not had a chance to watch it.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, we're gonna spoil it.
Oh,
Do you care?
Big time.
I don't care.
Okay. I'm really weird. I don't know what the hell Toby is.
All I want to know is there? Does she get penetrated?
Episode 1.
Yeah.
In many episodes.
No, I'm talking the back of a Volkswagen.
So
I don't know that for sure, but okay.
I was hoping Toby was going to be here because he has actually read the majority of the series, like after he watched the show, and I wanted to ask him a few things because if there's one thing I took away from Jessica Jones' the show is none of this is from the comic. I mean, the base character is sure, and her connection to Luke Cage and Purple Man, but none of these plots are from the comic as far as I remember. Maybe bit pieces, a little here and there, but this isn't like the Thomas Jane Punisher.
They took the history from the
Right.
comic and then just
did their own thing with it.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Which is totally fine.
Oh, yeah, because it works out really well.
All right. So Jessica Jones is a character created by Brian Michael Bendis. And God, just hold on. Let me get the fucking book. Actually, Charlie, go get the book while I'm talking. I can't remember the artist name. I don't know why I'm drawing such a blank on this. It's under J.
The omnibus?
It's under Jessica Jones now, J. So he was... Jessica Jones, the story is, as far as I know, it was supposed to be Spider-Woman in the comic books. It was supposed to be Jessica Drew. And Marvel said, no, we don't want her having anal sex with Luke Cage in the first issue of a mature reader comic. Plus, we may do something with her at some point, which it's Bendis' favorite comic, or favorite character,
This is
Spider-Woman.
Watchmen all over again. They just didn't want to ruin the original DC characters,
Sure.
so they made their own.
So they told Bendis, right, make up your own character.
Exactly, yeah.
So he creates Jessica Jones. Also, the book is called Alias. Michael Gaydos. Yeah, I was right. Michael Gaydos.
It's an alias for Jessica Drew.
So Alias, the comic book, ran under the Max line for a number of years and earned the early mid-2000s, and the character moved on with Bendis to New Avengers, and she married Luke Cage. They had a kid.
Well, didn't it get popular enough that they tried to move it back into the main Marvel universe with Pulse?
Yeah, there was which wasn't very good, I thought.
It didn't work.
Yeah, there was like a 12-issue. A 12-issue? Yeah, it was like a 12-issue
Yeah, we have
series
it on
called
the-
Pulse, which was kind of her and her Jewel backstory and trying to deal with more. But again, there's more
Didn't they make her a reporter for that or something?
something weird. It was like I think she was working for like the Daily Bugle or something
Yeah.
stupid.
So apparently she went to high school with Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Around the time Peter Parker got bitten by the spider, she got into some accident and she got her superpowers. Safety was really
you
not...
bending my book. What are you doing? What's
No, I
you
just
buying
I
that?
turned it back. So it wouldn't
Jesus
do it.
Christ.
So no, but apparently safety was really off the scale that year because everybody got their
Yeah.
powers that year.
And I mean, a big chunk of her story is trying to track down some MGH dealers, mutant growth hormone dealers, and Speedball gets in the way. And I was like, oh my God, Jessica Jones, Speedball going to be introduced? No Speedball, unfortunately. But yeah, none of this stuff is in the show because whatever. Spider-Man and
There
X-Men.
are some amazing
Because if they
characters.
had MGH, they'd have to explain what a mutant
Right,
is.
exactly. And Spider-Man
they're
probably
they're going to go with
couldn't be in it, so-
IGH.
Yeah, there you go. So, and they did some changes. Obviously, they're not going to use Miss Marvel or current Captain Marvel because she's going to have her own movie and all that. So there's some character replacements. We do get actually one of my favorite characters in the show, and that's Patricia Walker, also known as Patsy Walker, also known as Hellcat. She is her friend in the show and in the comics.
Are we
She's
going to get a
Hellcat.
She-Hulk?
Nah, that'd be awesome though. So Hellcat, I guess she's never called Hellcat in the comic or in the show.
Nope.
But she has training. She very temporarily has some
going
form
in-
of powers.
She had training, but it doesn't serve her any good in the whole damn series.
Well, it does at the end when
okay.
she gets quote unquote powers for a minute.
Yeah.
Which,
Hellcat powers.
We'll get to that in a second. Of course, David Tennant, a.k.a. Kilgrave, a.k.a. the Purple Man, classic Daredevil villain. Very different. I don't say very different. This is very similar to the Max take on the character, the Alias take. Very different from the traditional take of the character. but he's sort of the main bad guy.
Yep.
He's good. He's
and
really good at that character.
He's, you know,
if you wanted to see David Tennant completely out of the Doctor Who element, this is the one right here.
a lot of people complained about the villains in the Marvel movies, except for Loki. I think Loki's kind of the one that always gets a pass. Purple Man definitely takes the cake. Is probably the best of all the villains. Kingpin was good, but what they do with Kilgrave in this is pretty amazing. I should say, obviously Kristen Ritter plays Jessica Jones in the show. Rachel Taylor is Patsy Walker, Trish Walker, and they actually acknowledge her being Patsy Walker. They do. So they do some interesting stuff with that. David Tennant, of course, is Kilgrave, also known to comic fans as the Purple Man. And then they bring in a couple other characters. Obviously, Luke Cage has a little bit of a role in it. Played by Mike Coulter, who is going to be Luke Cage in his own show at some point soon.
He does a great job.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I assume most people know who Luke Cage is, probably. I would assume. Charlie? Okay.
I was just going to say, Red Hat Man, Dave.
Dave, yeah.
Was asking me about who Iron Fist is, so of course I gave him general stuff, and I said he was one half of Heroes for Hire with Luke Cage, and he's like, before Jessica Jones, I would have been now asking you who's Luke Cage.
Yeah. We have Jessica Jones's neighbor, Malcolm Ducasse. Ika Darville is the actor. To best of my knowledge, not a Marvel character.
It's been a long time since I read the Alias series, but yeah, the general supporting cast didn't seem familiar to me.
Yeah, most of those characters, to the best of my knowledge, aren't. I didn't look up all of them beforehand, but best of my knowledge, they're created for the show. Now,
Rosaria Dawson,
she
returns as a night nurse again.
Yep. She comes back for an episode. We also have Carrie Ann Moss playing a gender-flipped Jerry Hogarth, who is a real comic book character. It's a guy in the comics, but whatever, that's fine. And he's a character from Iron Fist, so he's a lawyer that works, I believe. No, he's actually the lawyer for Heroes for Hire. So maybe they'll bring her back in the Iron Fist or Luke Cage show. And so this is the one. This is the one that I didn't actually catch right away. So there's a police officer who becomes Patsy Walker's boyfriend in the show named Will Simpson. And I think that played by Will Travel is his name. The name kind of rung a bell with me, but I was just like, I don't remember. Is that someone? I don't think it is. I can't remember. So there's a scene in the show. He starts to go crazy. He's taking these pills, and suddenly I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I'm not going to look this up. Who is this? Why can't I'm like, I know who this character is. Why can't I remember who this character is? Then he pulls out the lighter, and the lighter has the American flag exactly like on Nuke's face. And fucking, of course, it's Nuke, who is an old Daredevil villain, Captain America villain. Was he introduced in the Frank Miller run? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't know his first appearance.
Yeah, it's a while ago.
Yeah.
So
he's an obscure character.
Yeah, he hasn't been.
He's been involved with Wolverine. He's been involved with. Has he? He's been involved with Daredevil.
Okay, yeah. First appearance Daredevil 232 during the Frank Miller run.
Okay.
So,
Wasn't he in the Death of Wolverine?
The more recent one, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, a character that's not appeared in a ton of comics, but the second I saw that American flag, I was like, "Oh shit, it's Nuke!"
I like it when the doctors come in. Okay, you can leave now. No, you need to leave now.
So he become. I mean, yes, he becomes a bad guy in the back half of the show, but he's not like a super villain bad guy. He's like they give him this drug that gives him like super enhanced performance, but it's like a military testing drug. But it also makes him kind of crazy. But I kind of, at the same point, you kind of know where he's coming from, because he's like, "Fuck you guys! I'm going to kill Kilgrave because he has ruined my life and he's ruining everyone's lives." And everyone wanted to arrest him so they could. Again, the long plot of the show
it's once he gets unhinged from the drugs, he's no longer willing to play ball with everybody else's plans,
right?
And that escalates, but. Through the entire show, he was trying to very low-key be like, okay, I'm not going to endanger everybody else, but I'm going to kill Kilgrave. It's later in the show, he's like, no, fuck, I will take out as
everyone.
Many.
Yeah.
Collateral damage is fine as long as Kilgrave dies.
And that's Nuke's program right there.
Yeah. So the long plot of the show is that Jessica Jones, who's a private investigator, a wannabe superhero who gets abducted by the Purple Man, then escapes, becomes a private investigator, and tries to get her life back. She's trying to protect a girl named Hope, who was also kidnapped by the Purple Man, and Hope kills her entire family, or kills her parents, after they believe she's been saved from the Purple Man. And she was still...
message to Jessica, basically.
Right. And so Jessica's whole plot within the show is we need to capture Kilgrave alive...
prove Hope's innocence.
To prove that he exists, to prove that mind control is real, and to prove Hope right. So, obviously, that doesn't go quite as intended throughout the course of the show.
They had him a couple times, and they effed up.
So that, at the end of the day, if I have any complaint about this show, which I don't have many, but if I have any complaint about the show, they probably should have captured him like one fewer times, and it probably would have been okay. I think by like the fourth time they captured him and he gets away, I felt a little like, really? He got away again?
Bunch of dumbasses. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can team up with Sugar Man.
Like the very first time, I understand. I think like the very last time we're in the bar, and everyone's got the news. Like I get that, I understand.
Yeah.
It's like the time in the middle. There was like one or two times in the middle where I was like,
so
really again?
The way I look at it is most of the time the reason why Kilgrave either avoided being captured or was able to just walk away is because he was smart. He knew exactly how to set things up, so he was not exposing himself to undue risk.
Right.
The times that it seemed just really broken is when Jessica and them had the upper hand and lost it because of stupidity.
Yeah. So the first time they do capture him, but he has like hired bodyguards to protect him, and that makes sense. It's not like mind control. It's like he's legitimately hired people, and so they come in and they take out Jessica, they take out Patsy Walker, they take out was the cop? Was he there too? Yeah. So they take out all of them, and I'm like, okay, that works. And again, I kind of get it towards the end of the show, but yeah, they put some dumb shit in the middle where I'm like, why? Like, okay,
they had him in a hermetically sealed vault.
Yeah.
Why would you send somebody
send
in
people
there?
in? Yeah, exactly.
Even his parents. I mean, oh, stupid.
Yeah. Now, again, I won't go into every element of the show. I mean, you guys obviously could talk about whatever you want. But I think when it comes down to Kristen Ritter's performance, David Tennant's performance, I liked Daredevil a whole lot. I had a couple issues with it. I liked Kingpin, but let me rephrase that. I like Wilson Fisk. He just wasn't the Kingpin. Maybe it's just too early. It's like an early day Kingpin. I'll buy that, sure, whatever. But I like Daredevil. But I didn't like it as much as Jessica Jones. I thought the show was fantastic. From all the actors, nearly across the board, to taking elements like the Purple Man and doing him in such a way that makes sense within the context of a TV show. Just the lighting, the elements, to that purple hue that always kind of pops up.
Yeah.
There was one time in the show towards the end after he's trying to pump up his powers and all that, where like he looks like he's starting to go red in the face. I'm like, is he turning purple?
Yeah. And I think one of the best things in a show to show how good it is when you have a character that you kind of hate and is really annoying early on, and then you actually really like them by the end. So the sister, the neighbor, the downstairs neighbor, upstairs neighbor, upstairs neighbor's sister, who again, if you watch the show, there's a brother and a sister, and the sister is so fucking annoying the first couple times you see her, but by the end you're like, oh, okay, I totally get this character now. And that's tricky to really take a character that intentionally annoying and then turn you onto their side.
Well, it's the whole humanizing aspect. It's one of those things that's typically a mark of a good villain and that kind of stuff. And it's something that a lot of British television, I think they do really, really well, that you can create a character that is so dislikable that you kind of love them. And I think creating sort of that human element after her brother, and like that was the the turning point was when they really kind of started to delve into not just the face she was showing the outside world, but a little bit of what she was like when she didn't have that kind of support structure and stuff.
Right. So what do you guys, Jim? Jim, you literally just finished the show today, right?
I did finish the show, and
Charlie, I think you finished it pretty quickly. You finished a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I finished it within the week it came out.
Okay. So yeah, what do you guys think?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. Not just the main characters that are in it, but I also enjoyed the naming of the other, the other aspects of the Marvel Universe. Why don't we just call it? How many more are there of us? How many more are there of us? Oh, well, see, they got the green guy and his team, and there's others. And then when she was captured, when she was talking to one of the people who tried to shoot her, she was like, "How many are there?" She goes, "Last count, 99. 99 of my friends are superpowers."
Oh yeah,
and
the kid doing the Captain America costume.
Yeah. The little stuff like that. I really enjoyed it. I would have liked a Daredevil cameo. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I thought they might. I thought they might at the very end.
Yeah. But for everything they had going for it, it was a really good, solid series. I crammed in the last 2 episodes really fast, but that last episode, oh my god, that was freaking amazing, man. It was really, really good. I want to spoil the ending so badly. I do.
Well, I should say, a lot of people probably think that I will make a certain comparison to a certain movie that I like a lot based off the ending on this. But just because I don't want to get in any sort of arguments, I won't. But I did acknowledge it at the end. However, that said, doesn't matter because I really, really like the show. And I'd just be trolling it.
I'm not going to spoil the ending. All I'm going to say is that watch the series, enjoy it, and enjoy every aspect of it. There's some gratuitous sex, and that's good for everybody. And there's a lot of cameo.
They do something interesting in this, and I felt like Daredevil was a little less
graphic.
Yeah, maybe a little less. So violence-wise, they both have some pretty crazy violence. There's a part where. Who is it? They're stabbed in the foot, and they grab the knife and try to pull the knife out of their foot. Oh, it was the lawyer.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Jesus, nasty. So the violence is probably on par with Daredevil. Less maybe fighting. Because Daredevil had a lot of
Jessica Jones didn't have
action
a whole lot of. It had some fight scenes, but nothing really, graphic.
They had that throwdown with Luke Cage once or twice, and then there's
Daredevil. They had a lot of really complicated choreographed fight scenes.
Right, this doesn't have any of that.
Yeah,
no.
This is
which is good.
Much more.
She's
tavern brawl kind of fight scenes,
which very much makes sense. Yeah.
You just said tavern brawl.
Yeah.
Hearthstone. I loved it whenever that you finally see Luke Cage what Luke Cage can do when the guy tried to stab him in the neck with that broken bottle.
And
he just looks at him like stupid.
Yeah. No, that was really good. Yeah, there's good bits.
Or what was it? The circular saw.
Oh,
he wanted to show her his power.
He just cuts
he takes a circular saw to his torso and just sits there and sparks until it just stops running.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah, and I think that they're not afraid to get very dirty with the fights, which I appreciate. They're but what I was saying, outside the violence, there's a decent amount of swearing, but never the F-bomb.
No.
So it's like I guess that's that prevents that R rating.
They were effing enough. They didn't have to drop.
Well,
the
with the
F-bomb.
sex though, there's sex but no nudity. There's I don't want to say graphic because you don't see anything, but there's pretty.
You get it.
You definitely understand what's.
understand what's going on.
You see everything but the nudity. So, if you had,
see everything but the bits.
This isn't rated R, but it's like more than PG-13. It's a weird place for a TV show. I feel
it's on Netflix, so they don't have to give it a rating.
No. Yeah, well, turn your mic on, Brock. It's not NC-17 because there's no nudity at all, and there's no swearing. There's no There's no
naughty bits.
There's no
naughty bit.
There's
naughty bit. No,
there's none of the extreme swearing. How about that?
Yeah.
There's no fucking beyond. There's shit and ass and bitch and all the pre-fuck
shit going in ass.
Pre-fuck swears. No post-fuck swears.
You're my little slut.
So,
yeah, you're going to take that. I don't know.
turn your mic back off, please.
Balls deep.
So yeah, Charlie, compared to Daredevil, I mean that's kind of our comparison. What are you thinking?
Right now, Jessica Jones is better, and a large part of it is, and it's weird to say because I do feel like Daredevil had a lot of layers to the different characters and that kind of stuff. But the fact that this story, like Daredevil, was very easy to kind of fall back on, like, oh my God, did you see those fight scenes and like that? You don't really get that out of this series. This is all character driven. This is all, in some ways, a psychological thriller, even though it's not really a psychological, like.
Well, no,
yeah.
I'd say it absolutely is. Yeah.
And it's when you kind of take out the cinematic universe, which I'm not saying.
Oh, Toby's here, and then he walked away. Okay. Goodbye, Toby.
If you sort of take out the cinematic universe out of the picture, this is the best thing Marvel has produced. I liked it better than even Agent Carter. And I really liked Agent Carter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So
There's Toby. What's happening?
Toby.
You made it. You're very late. Talk about Alias? We got a little bit of time.
Jessica Jones.
Well, let me finish my Let me finish my thought here real quick, and then we'll hear from Toby, because I know Toby, I think, was a big fan of Jessica Jones. Yeah. So when I said I liked it better than Daredevil, it's not like Daredevil's a D or anything like that. No, this is like an A+ and Daredevil's an A, or this is an A and Daredevil's an A-. I mean, it is. They're both fantastic. I think I just like this one a little bit better than Daredevil. I think it just had a little bit more going on.
Until Daredevil Season 2 comes out.
Well, again, very excited for Daredevil Season 2, and especially now that I hear Frank Miller didn't see Season 1 and he thinks Elektra looks terrible in Season 2, I'm even more excited for it. And Toby's back outside again, so maybe he'll be back in a minute. So, yeah, I wonder if having Luke Cage in this show was a good thing or a bad thing, as much as he is, because he's in a lot of it. At least half of the show he's in.
No, he's in a lot of the episodes.
Like I said, at least half of the show.
Yeah.
So what do they do in a Luke Cage show? I mean, he obviously has his own stories, but they've never had one that, so far we haven't quite had this kind of intro, and then is half his show going to be about
It'll be half
Iron
his show,
Fist?
It'll be half his show, half Iron Fist show. Yeah.
And then Iron Fist gets his own show with Doctor Strange in it?
Yeah.
So I guess my mentality on this is they set up the character very, very well. I don't like this is just flat out. I'm glad they used Luke Cage because I like the connection between the two characters, and I think it would have been a shame to not use Luke Cage in it.
They have to, right? I'm just surprised it was this much.
But the fact that it's in that much, and then the fact that they kind of went out of their way to have him vanish towards the end, makes it very easy to kind of look at the idea of him try to move on. But at some point, I feel like he has to, like, you need the Jessica Jones cameo in the Luke Cage show, or
maybe there's no Jessica Jones Season 2. Maybe she's just in Luke Cage.
Which would be fine with me.
Yeah.
Well, sort of fine with me. There's plenty of reasons why I want a Jessica Jones Season 2.
Well, sure, of course.
And
but, with Daredevil,
pretty sure it's going to get it.
With Daredevil, there's so much to draw from. With Jessica Jones, there's really not.
You'd be hard-pressed in a way to recreate the success of the big bad from Season 1 of Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
But given how much of the source material they went off of the original source material,
here's what they do. Season 1 of Luke Cage, her and Jessica Jones get together. They become a couple. She gets pregnant and has a kid. Season 2 of Jessica Jones, it's all about getting Squirrel Girl to be her nanny. Hell yes.
God.
And then that Squirrel Girl can fight a bunch of Nazi robots. That's good shit.
Okay.
This is all real, Jim. This is from the comics.
And that makes it worse.
This is from Bendis' New Avengers.
What do you mean worse? That makes it better.
It makes it worse.
Yeah, blame it. It is Jessica Jones's fault that Squirrel Girl was reintroduced into the Marvel universe. If you really come down to it, it's all Brian Michael Bendis.
See, the beauty of comic books, and especially the most ridiculous stuff you can do in comic books, is when they do it well in live action.
It's
amazing.
Yeah. I was going to say, I thought you meant when they just do it well, because that issue of New Avengers is one of my absolute favorites.
Oh, it's a great issue, but one of the things I'm always talking about.
Was that during Siege? That was Siege, right?
I think so.
The Siege crossover where Squirrel Girl has Jessica Jones and Luke Cage's baby, and she goes up against the army of Nazi robots in like DC. That was such a good issue.
Yeah.
It was so fun. Oh yeah, that's great, man. I love Squirrel Girl.
But like, that's the kind of thing that, like, on paper, you're like, you will never see that in live action. It would never work in live action.
No.
And then every once in a while, they actually manage to do something like that in live action. Is just like jaw drop. Oh my god, did they actually do that?
Yeah.
You can have Squirrel Girl. I'll give you that one. How's that?
I'll take her. All right. I guess that's it. We were gonna. I mean, maybe I could just pause it at the end of this, and we'll edit Toby's talk in at the end if he comes back. I don't know what's up with Toby, but maybe he's maybe he was only here temporarily. So
Trailers.
Oh well, Toby.
Trailers. Movie trailers.
We're running a little bit long, Brock. If you want to hang for a second, we could talk real quick.
Okay.
About X-Men Apocalypse trailer, which dropped the other day. I was not the biggest fan of Days of Future Past. I liked it, but I didn't love it. I thought it was middle of the pack for the X-Men movies for me. This trailer kind of felt more the same to me.
But it had Apocalypse, and therefore it's awesome.
Yeah, but it has some real shoddy CG shots in that.
A precursor to Cable.
Yeah. It looks cool.
Which is the precursor to Sugar Man.
It looks cool. I hope it's really good.
I hope they have Sugar Man in this. I hope he makes just some pop up. I'm here for you,
Right
Ryan.
in the middle of the theater. I'll be like, fuck you, Jim!
I try not to let the X-Men timeline bother me or confuse me too much, because
Good luck.
now we have Jubilee being an X-Man decades prior to Wolverine joining the team.
Yeah.
So I don't know quite how that works.
Yeah.
She's the same age as young Scott.
Wolverine can hit it now.
I'm a little. I know, like Charlie. I'm a little concerned about Sansa Stark being Jean Grey, because all I see is Sansa Stark. I don't see Jean
I
Grey.
didn't realize that was Havoc. That was with Charles and Beast talking about Apocalypse.
Oh, he was in the last one.
Long hair Havoc.
Oh yeah. The trailer looks cool though. I'm a little concerned about some of the special effects. There's like a shot of Storm and a shot of Apocalypse that look really bad. Like some real cheesy ass green screen.
Brings back X-Men 3 flashbacks.
Yeah.
Well,
Archangel's appearance looked really good.
but yeah, I'm curious.
They got the color of Apocalypse right now.
He looks cool.
He's not purple.
His voice is a little weird, but he looks cool.
To me, the ultimate Apocalypse voice was the X-Men animated series.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that was just fantastic.
Yeah, he just sounds like a dude in this, and that's a little weird.
Yeah.
But
Maybe he was reading Totally Awesome Hulk.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe where they're going with Apocalypse.
Hey, but we get a bold Charles.
All that. They show that at the end.
Well, I mean, all I really kind of demand of using Apocalypse, other than a Cable cameo, which I'm hoping for, is them to do the character justice. And it looks like they've firmly established his history, which makes me happy. And the bits we've seen with his powers seem to be completely accurate, which makes me happy. So
They show him growing and all his weird ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Very, very limitless powers.
it's definitely one of those things of when I'm watching a movie, I will be extremely judgmental if somebody who's supposed to be very imposing and intimidating doesn't come off that way. And Apocalypse looks a lot closer to the comic design than I ever thought they would go with him, which makes me really happy.
Did they show Psylocke in that trailer at all?
Yes.
Did they?
But not in costume.
Oh, okay.
Did
okay.
they?
Yes, there's at
seen
least one scene of her face.
It's what's her
okay.
name?
Olivia Munn.
Olivia Munn, yeah.
They showed it.
So who's the horsemen? It seems
Looks
like
like
Nightcrawler, Storm.
Looks like Storm, Magneto, Psylocke. I don't know who the
Is
fourth
Psylocke?
Archangel.
Oh, Archangel, yeah.
When they were talking about the horsemen, they showed
It's Storm, Magneto, Archangel, and Psylocke.
but they show Nightcrawler in that scene.
No, they cut to Nightcrawler because they're talking about stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to have
Either
him.
way, I don't think the trailer necessarily communicated all that information.
Who they are.
Yeah.
Possible. Is another trailer that apparently I've forgotten to talk about like 6 weeks in a row.
Star Trek Beyond. Oh, wait.
No, that was a while ago. That just
That was
happened.
like
Star Wars, I haven't seen any trailer for months, so I have no clue what's going on with Star Wars. And no, I have not been purposefully not talking about Civil War. I legitimately thought we talked about it, and then apparently we never did. So, Civil War, that trailer came out.
And the international trailer came out also.
I didn't see that yet. What do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of the Civil War trailer? I'm curious.
Good try.
I really kind of wish it wasn't called Civil War.
Well, I mean, it's not Civil War.
No,
I mean,
but
it's not.
But
Yeah.
the issue seems to be the government wants to arrest Bucky. Cap doesn't want them to arrest Bucky, and things escalate. It doesn't feel like it's a big like the thing about Civil War, regardless of if it's the Registration Act or whatever kicks it off, is it's supposed to be some big idea of a sort of debate and division amongst the heroes about sort of believing, and this just kind of seems to me like Cap is being loyal to his friend, and I don't really believe that all these people would side against Cap, and like it just, I don't like it.
The thing with the Captain America movies is we had the first Avenger, right? Which was the first one.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Winter Soldier, but it didn't really have anything to do with Winter Soldier. It feels like this one should have been labeled Winter Soldier.
what are you talking about?
No.
Winter Soldier was all over the second movie.
He was in the second movie, but it was more about the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D.
While the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. was in effect, the movie was about the fact that Bucky had been brainwashed.
No, I know. But I'm saying that, like, you're saying this one doesn't seem like Civil War. Would it be better if it was titled Winter Soldier?
No, I just...
I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that. It was totally about Bucky and Winter Soldier in the second movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like,
Whatever.
to me, this just seems like a typical disagreement amongst heroes kind of fight. Like you see in the comic books all the time. The thing about Civil War was the fact that like everybody had to choose a side.
Civil War was epic. I mean, it was not just Avengers.
Jim, this movie trailer has a giant fight scene in a parking lot. How is that not epic?
No, it crossed all the books. Fantastic Four, X-Men. I mean, everybody was involved in Civil War, okay?
Because everybody had to choose a side.
Yes, let's have all those characters in this movie, like the X-Men and Fantastic Four and Hulk. Wait, we can't.
My point my point is, I really hope it's not going to fall short.
Maybe that's where Hulk went at the end of Age of Ultron. Maybe he's flying off to his battle world.
He splashed down somewhere around Fiji or something like that.
But I guess my thing, and maybe they'll do a much better job in the movie, is... Within Civil War and the premise of Civil War, everybody had to choose a side. There was no, we can just sit on the sidelines. It was very, very, very specific and understood that you had to choose a side in this conflict.
Well, it was kicked off by Ryan's favorite team, the new Warriors.
Trolling.
Well, that's, I mean, the thing is it was...
Hey, man, if we get speedball in this movie, I'm totally fine.
The thing is Civil War was kicked off basically from... people viewing it as the terrorist attack. People viewing it as,
the real cost to having unregistered heroes and untrained heroes, and all that's fine. If you don't want to go down that route, I totally get it, and that's fine with me. But if you're going to label something Civil War and pretty much set up the idea of everybody has to choose a side to do this big battle between all the heroes, and not just say bring in Iron Man as somebody, like if it was just Iron Man hunting down, but the whole premise of this is something divides the hero community as a whole.
And if it's just Bucky, that's not enough for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where, to me in the trailer, it does not do a good job of explaining why it would divide. The whole idea
not big enough
of
catalyst to cause this.
Right.
The whole idea of Spider-Man supposed to appear in this movie. Why the fuck would Spider-Man get involved in this?
I'm sure he's just a like that Spider-Man kid. They'll cut to him and it's going to be like, huh? And then that's going to be his whole role.
Or he'll reveal himself.
No.
But you understand my point. It's it's this.
Well.
Yeah.
So let me remind people before I say what I'm about to say. with the exception of 1.5 of the Marvel movies, that would be Iron Man 3, and I'll kind of give you half on Age of Ultron. I liked half of it, but that's probably my second. Man, the more I think about Age of Ultron, it's probably like my second least favorite movie of all of them. I have liked to abso-fucking-lutely loved every single other Marvel movie.
Incredible Hulk?
Incredible Hulk was great.
I liked
Hulk.
I liked it.
Hulk falls under
didn't
like.
know he liked it.
Hulk falls under like. Yes, I liked Iron Man 2. Yes, I really liked Iron Man 2. I don't know why that movie gets such hate. I like both Thor movies. People are crazy to not like either of those movies. I don't know what's wrong with people. So, before I say what I'm about to say, and let me also remind people that Winter Soldier is probably my number 2 or number 3 movie, depending if I decide Guardians is better. I can never decide.
What's number 1?
Avengers.
Okay.
So let me just say this. This trailer does not look very good at all to me. I was really disappointed with this trailer. And I rewatched just before the podcast just to kind of be like, maybe I need to rewatch this. No. And I have a couple issues. Some of it looks cool. And man, I hope it's amazing. I loved Winter Soldier so much. And I really, really hope this is good. But I saw a bit of this in Age of Ultron, and that is the perfectly choreographed, clean fight scene that's like the episode 1 lightsaber ballet and not like a Jessica Jones Daredevil style dirty fight scene. You know, Man of Steel, regardless of what you think of the movie, the fight scenes in that movie are fucking incredible, right? People get thrown all over the place. Everything, it looked just so glossy and perfectly. There was 1 or 2 shots of it getting a little dirty, but very few. And to me,
he said dirty a lot in this
movie. The shot that killed me was that very last shot. It was supposed to be the money shot of the trailer, and to me, I hated it. It's a shot of Cap and Bucky fighting Iron Man. This one shot, this perfectly cartoony, choreographed ballet fight at the end of that trailer. I hated it. It looks so stupid. It's not real. All the rest of these movies...
It was the Shield, wasn't it?
The Shield really bugged me. Yeah. I buy the Shield even in Age of Ultron bouncing around. It looked cool. I got a lot of that in Age of Ultron, though. The opening fight scene...
No, in Winter Soldier, him using it worked perfectly.
Oh, it did.
Worked amazing.
And again, Winter Soldier, down and dirty fights, and it looked cool. And like the fight in the elevators.
Cap changed his fighting style to like almost parkour.
Yeah. The fight in the elevators, like maybe one of the best fights in any of the movies.
Oh, even when he's fighting Baddock at the beginning. I mean,
Baddock, yeah. No, perfect, right? Man, that fight, that last scene against Iron Man just screamed like the worst of Age of Ultron's fight scenes, and it really bugged me. And I just hope it looks cool, so they put it in.
Maybe they'll do it in slow motion.
And maybe that's the only time they do it, but that fight scene really, really bothered me. So, I don't know. Like, I am very excited for the movie. The trailer kind of took my excitement down a level. Like, Black Panther looks cool, but like I was joking earlier, but I'm really not. Okay, they're fighting in like like the parking lot of a airport.
Yeah,
okay,
bus terminal or something.
Like what? All right, I guess. I hope the 12 people in the terminal get out before.
It's to keep collateral damage down, so they don't waste half the movie going, or 25 minutes of the movie going. We got to save people.
So. In X-Men Apocalypse, I forgot my hella snarky comment of that scene when Apocalypse is totally destroying New York. I hope we have 25 minutes of the X-Men trying to save civilians and dogs instead of fighting Apocalypse. Maybe they are like, well, we can't fight in this crowded New York City street.
But
so
we can make Bryce happy.
Iron Man and Captain America, there's a perfectly open... empty airport lot over there that we can fight, and the heroes slowly walk over hand in hand to this fight scene where they're allowed to fight with no damage to humans or any sort of living animals. And they're like, "Are we good to fight now? Okay, yeah, let's fight here." Because otherwise, heaven forbid, you don't see people getting saved because fucking
it's a
fight
his
scene.
Hands around like an
just it's never gonna end. I'm never gonna let this go. So
let it go, let it go.
Yeah, no. Anyway. I really, really hope this movie's good. The trailer is not the best. That's it. That's all I get to say.
See, I don't know when we will see the full effects of this movie. We will start seeing the effects of the fact that they disbanded that sort of Marvel roundtable that they had of
think we're seeing it. It feels like we're seeing parts of it already.
Yeah. Like this, watching this, when you sort of look at some of these movies and you start asking the question of why did nobody bring this up?
Yeah.
Sometimes I literally think it's because the people in charge just don't want to listen, and therefore they disband the creative committees and all that.
It's possible.
Can we talk about a good trailer?
We're not done yet.
Nope. We are done.
Star Trek
No,
Beyond.
we're not done. I didn't get to say anything.
Oh, yeah. Say your shit.
No. Okay, apart from the bad stuff, I really hope that the Bucky storyline is a minor plot line. Minor plot. Because of the fact Bucky had
it's the entire movie.
Bucky was not the catalyst for Civil War.
Yeah, nothing to do with Civil War.
So I really hope that is a minor plot line. That being said, I did like Black Panther. I thought his costume looked pretty cool.
Okay.
All right. I didn't see Ant-Man anywhere, but I'm sure he's there, just small. And the teams are, to have perfectly even broken up teams is so lame. I mean, that is like one of the lamest things. But
well, the funny thing to me is, okay, so you have Cap and Winter Soldier and Falcon and
Hawkeye and Black
Widow against Vision, Scarlet Witch, Iron Man,
Scarlet Witch is on
War Machine.
Scarlet Witch is on Captain America's side.
Okay, maybe that's the only way you get it for Vision. But Vision's just like across the field. And
Vision, War Machine, Iron Man.
Yeah.
Who else?
Like,
well, apparently,
what are you going to do against these guys?
War Machine gets his ass handed to him
by someone. Yeah, I don't know. All right, I have some Thai food to order. Let's wrap this up.
Star Trek Beyond. As long as you got your priorities straight.
Star Trek's not a comic book. That's Geekbox material. We talked about it last time.
It is a comic book.
It's been a comic book for years.
Did you guys see the trailer?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Well, look, I could order some Thai food, so talk about this for a minute.
I'm excited.
No, I'm serious. Talk about it.
I'm fucking excited.
Go ahead.
Looks good.
It looks like a bold new direction.
A bold new direction. They're actually going to boldly go where no one's gone before in this
Who directed it? Was it JJ again?
No.
No,
it's from JJ Abrams.
It's produced.
Yeah.
But
because JJ went over to the
is it
Star
a Fast
Wars
and
side.
Furious?
Yeah, it's
Hey,
the Fast and Furious 7 guy. Yeah.
Justin Lin is the director.
But no, it looks good. And if I recall that it was, God, I hate it when my brain's just fried on names today. Apparently, but it was co-written by Simon Pegg, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember him talking about working on the script. So overall, I'm excited to check it out. I think it looks very interesting and different than what we kind of have had before, and I also kind of like it feels like it's going to have a smaller cast focus in the end. Like they're not going to be so driven by
everybody getting screen time.
Yeah.
Like
it feels a much sort of smaller focused story, which is kind of what we got with the original. Like, yes, there were exceptions that were done really, really well, but let's be honest, the original movies and stuff really centered around Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. Like those were the three people who really carried that crew, and you'd have good scenes with Scotty or good scenes with Chekhov and whatnot, but they were not really the focal point of those. So I have no problem with sort of the way it kind of looked like you were going back to that focal point a little bit more.
I enjoyed the last two. I think they're.
Don't get me wrong. I really liked it.
The effects look pretty freaking amazing, in the trailer, and I'm looking forward to seeing this third one. So
July.
Yeah. The first two were great. I just, in a way, this kind of felt closer to the original series to me, which is kind of interesting.
Star Trek?
Yeah.
When you say original series, do you mean the original Fast and the Furious movies? Or
what I meant. So you missed my opening part of that, but the original series and the original series of movies in a lot of ways were very Spock, Kirk, McCoy centric.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like with the new movies, you got into a lot of, Uhura's got a lot of stuff going on there. Like,
all of them
there are still some people who kind of get shoved away to the side, but it's much more of a...
It's Kirk and Spock. It's less McCoy.
Yeah.
And then the first two.
This movie, especially with the destruction of the Enterprise and apparently getting stranded on there and split up, kind of feels a little bit more in terms of that sort of like key focal point again, where you don't necessarily have to have the entire crew doing something, and like that for me is where it kind of feels a little bit more like the original series to me, where it kind of feels like they're restoring the focal point a little bit more.
Charlie's happy that they're destroying the Enterprise and he gets a brand new ship again.
But that's the formula.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, it's an action-y trailer, so I don't know how if it's going to be, more action-y than the first two, but I don't know.
You forgot to even mention the movie you're most excited for.
What's that?
Independence Day.
I am excited for Independence Day. Also not a comic book. So we're going to end. We're running really long.
But I'm
Thank
sure
you.
it will be a comic book soon.
Oh, I'm sure it will be.
Thank you.
There was a movie comic book. There was a prequel.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast. Remember, there's no podcast next Tuesday, so don't look for one.
Unless you haven't downloaded Fridays yet.
Exactly.
Then
However,
you can find it.
Friday night, probably very late Friday night.
Or Saturday morning.
Hopefully it's not Saturday morning. We will be recording and posting our Star Wars Holiday Special featuring many members of this podcast, some other podcasts.
We're going to have basically a rotating chair.
And a number of other guests from this podcast in the past, and I believe even one or two that have never been on it. So we're going to have a big crowd all talking about Star Wars, both our secret origin of Star Wars, kind of how we got into it, and our
That's
backstory.
gonna last forever. I'm gonna
It's
miss
the podcast that will never end.
I got this shit on lockdown. I'm giving everyone a very timed amount.
I'm gonna miss the secret origin of Star Wars moment. Aww.
It's basically it'll be a lot less painful than the first three films.
Except for the Bryce Briefly portion of it.
Like I said, I'm keeping a stopwatch on everyone. That includes Bryce. And
like that's ever worked, but keep
You
going.
should get a wrap it up box.
yeah. And
Need a bell.
then
Ding!
we will be
You're
also
done.
discussing in a nice kind of group format, or two or three, our thoughts on Star Wars Force Awakens Episode 7 coming out this Thursday.
No, coming out Friday.
It's coming out Thursday here in the United States, Wednesday in the UK, officially Friday, but everyone's going to fucking see it Wednesday
The
and Thursday.
reviews are out tomorrow night.
Yep. Well, the reviews are out in 3 hours and
Nice.
some change. I've been off the internet all day because people saw the premiere last night. I'm definitely going to be off the internet the rest of the couple days. So
Well, didn't people get let in at Man Chinese Theater that were like waiting in line? They just let them in.
yeah. Some people got to see it, so that's pretty cool if you got to do that. However, we didn't, so we're going to have to go with all the proles on
Proles?
all the proles on Thursday and see with everyone else. So
All 32 of us.
geekbox.net and the Comic Conspiracy on iTunes. That's where you can go listen to all our previous episodes. Don't forget to rate and review us. Forums at geekbox.net and the Geekbox and Comic Conspiracy Facebook group. That is where you can go to talk to all our forum members and regular listeners and, do some crap on there. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. So we can go buy your digital comic books connected to our Comixology account, connects to your Comixology account, and it's all part of the same thing. And also now it's also part of your Amazon account. So all connected.
Anything you've bought on your Kindle, you can now read.
Patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy. Go there and donate some money to us, and that's great. Conspiratobrock.com. That's Brock's blog. Deep Along with Podcast and the Wanderers of the Fourth Dimension. Those are Charlie's podcasts. Don't forget to listen to those about comic books and Doctor Who. I really got to go pick up my Thai food. Leanne has her Etsy shop. That's my wonderful wife. Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. Go very, very, very last minute Christmas present. Buy it in the next day or two, and you'll get it for Christmas. Otherwise, SOL. I'm on Twitter, Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager, or Larson, Bryce is Bryce, Larson, Toby's Toby XI, Charlie's Insanity and Chaos, Jim is LD Exterminator, the Geekbox Comedy Button, good job, Brandon, the All Talk Podcast, or the other podcasts on our little network. I don't know. We're done. I'm going to go get my Thai food and go watch Star Wars.